The Real Estate Photography Podcast is brought to you by tourbuzz.net, high-definition virtual tour and photograph hosting, now with interactive floor plans. Sign up for your free trial today. Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Photography Podcast with Mike Muriello. Today, we have a review of a product called blueSLR, which is a wireless camera control unit that works over Bluetooth. It's a pretty neat product, and it really solves the problem of pole aerial photography shutter release capabilities. Really handy. Basically, it's a little dongle that plugs into your camera's shutter release port, and it has Bluetooth connected in the thicker part of the dongle, and you basically connect to your iOS device. So, first of all, at the current moment, it only works with Nikon cameras. So you have to have a Nikon camera, and then you get the corresponding blueSLR model that works with your camera model, and then you have to have either an iPhone, iPod, or iPad. iPod Touch. Any of the iOS devices that have Bluetooth capabilities will be fine, and then that's it. Those are the only constraints you have to have, and it works. Now, the purposes for us in real estate photography are not necessarily. I don't really see the practical use in doing this in the house while you're photographing the interiors, but I do see a huge opportunity for pole aerial photography. So you're putting that camera, that DSLR, up about 15, 20, 25 feet away from you, and you need to trigger that. Some of the lower end models have infrared ports where you can trigger those shutters infrared, but they do have their limitations, such as line of sight and distance, and sunlight challenges too. I've never really experienced sunlight challenges, but there are those out there that do. So this kind of alleviates those issues by connecting via Bluetooth, triggering the shutter. So here's a quick. That's what we're looking at. And here's a quick look at the unit. As you can see, it's small. It's really, really small, which is great. It's compact. When I put it into my camera bag, it was almost as if it wasn't there. So it's a small unit, and it's really compact. Another view is how it connects. So basically, as you can see from this photo, it connects via the shutter release port in your camera. And basically, I said this before, but if you have one level of DSLR, you get a certain type of blueSLR Bluetooth dongle. If you have a different type, you have to get a different one. And I imagine the only thing different is the way it connects and the dongle on the end. So what's really interesting about this, while I'm at this picture, is you can't see it from here, but there's no compartment in the blueSLR dongle for a battery, and that's because, and little did I know, the cable release port actually has a power line running into it, so you don't have to worry about turning blueSLR on or off or recharging the batteries, which is very, very convenient. You can plug it in, leave it plugged in, and never have to worry about turning it on and off, because when you power on the camera, all of a sudden, blueSLR powers on and attempts to connect to your Bluetooth device that's paired to it already. Really, really cool. And it does that. I've had a 100% success rate with it powering on and pairing in the last 2 weeks. So, really, really good stuff. All right, here we go. This is the instruction manual that it comes with too, which is, I like it. Well designed, very to the point. Basically gives you a pictorial diagram of what you should do. All you have to do is change one camera setting, which doesn't impact your other settings when you do use a regular cable release port, and then you connect. It's pretty good. And then when you plug it in, this is what it looks like. So it just kind of hangs off the edge of your camera. You can see the blue light on the side. There's no display, obviously, except for the one on your iOS device. But basically, that blue light, that's solid. That means you're connected and you're good. If it's blinking, it means something different. If it's blinking in a different pattern, that means something different. But as long as it's blue and it's solid, you have a visual lock on the fact that things are good. And then, as you can see right next there, the iPhone is connected. It says right there on the top line of the iPhone, it says blueSLR connected. That means you're good to go. It is really that simple. Turn it on, And then here's my workflow. What I typically do is I turn on the camera. If I'm taking the exterior shot of the house, I focus. I try to get my camera as close to focus as possible in the composition. Then I prop the camera up onto the pole, and then I turn on my I awaken the iPhone from sleep. It's not that it was powered off. And then I open up blueSLR, and by the time I open up the app, it's already connected. So it all happens behind the scenes, which is very, very good. And then I go ahead and I take the picture. This is a screenshot of what it looks like on the iPhone or iPod screen or iPad screen, whatever you're using. It says all your GPS information, and in the lower right-hand corner is that looks like a target that's highlighted in blue. That means GPS is active. The one above that, the AF, you can autofocus before you release the shutter if you want. To the left of that is your time delay, and I'm going to have another screenshot of that. And then below that is your settings pane. So this is your timer, and this is actually pretty cool that the fact that they thought of this, what you can do with this. You can delay the shot, say any number of seconds in these increments that you'd want. If you wanted to say, I want to press the shutter, then focus on my composition, and I need 5 seconds to do that, you can do that. You can also, this is really, really sneaky, and I like it, you can set your camera to bracketing mode. So if you are into basically taking multiple exposures of your exterior shot, you can say, I'm going to set my camera to bracketing, and I'm going to take 3 shots when I press the shutter. Really cool stuff. Really nice way to do that. And then in the settings pane, you can go ahead and change your shutter time, autofocus time, GPS accuracy. You can change all this other stuff. It's really, really well thought out. So for, in conclusion, I would say this is a really, really good unit. It solves the problem that most people have when it comes to pole aerial photography. There's a lot of, what camera should I get because I can't trigger my DSLR wirelessly? And honestly, this is a solution that bridges the gap between wirelessly connecting a shutter release or a phone or, say, a computer or camera to a camera. Because our DSLR manufacturers are, and in my opinion, are quite literally dragging their feet when it comes to building in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to our cameras. I know some people say, oh, well, that would drain our battery. Well, give us a physical switch to shut it off, just like everything else on our camera. It would really, really come in handy if we had this capability already, but fortunately there are products that kind of bridge that gap. Okay, one thing, I would say there's only one caveat to my review, to loving this product, is the fact that there is no image review capability yet. Now, I've been in contact with blueSLR, and I've been informed that image review, that feature, will be coming to version 2 of blueSLR. Now, there's no word on when that's coming out, and honestly, it only affects you if you really want the ability to do image review. So, as a shutter release product, this is, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's a luxury shutter release, especially for pole aerial photography. Now, if you want a shutter release that'll also give you image review, you might be left a little shortchanged. It just depends on what your needs are. So I would say it's a very, very good product. The range is astronomical. You're never going to, if you're doing pole aerial photography, you're never going to max out on the range. The connectivity and the app, they work really, really well. There are no connection issues. It just works, at least in my experiences. And I've used this product extensively for the last 2 weeks. I've been putting it through its paces. I haven't been testing its distances because I don't need to, but in the cold weather, it works perfectly, and that's a pretty good sign when everything works, even in real life conditions. So I would give this product a 10 out of 10. I really, really, really like blueSLR. So that's my opinion, and thank you for listening and watching the review. Have a good one.